true for me. We study this stuff and we don't see what's there.
Right.
We don't see what's there. We preach,
We
yeah, we preach it and it's trivialized so much. I don't know if I'm using the proper word. Yeah, it's trivialized so much because it's you hear the same thing preached the same way all the time, and
right.
you sit there and say to yourself, "Are we getting this right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting this right?"
Right.
Because I mean, you can easily see what the preacher is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You grasp his agenda, and then you say, and then of course I just ask the question, and now all us preachers really
Mm-hmm.
got God's agenda in mind.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. I got some land I'll sell you out, West Texas.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. Because they all proclaiming the same way and basically for the same purposes,
Yeah.
just to maintain a following and all that in face of the Lord Himself saying, "Follow me."
Right. Right.
And the Lord says, "Follow me," and everybody throws their hand up and say, "Follow me." Where you in, John?
I'm in 8, brother.
Uh-oh.
I'm in 8. Starting at
Whoa.
starting at verse 31, but that's not the emphasis.
Right.
But I want to start there just to put some context to the reading.
Okay, that's because that's a popular reading, right?
It is, right? That's a popular one. Uh, but it's real interesting. You should know where we going once we start.
Yeah.
But I'll kick it off. John 8, verse 31, starting at 31. It says, to the Jews who had believed in him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. They answered him. I love this part. We are Abraham's descendants and have never been slaves to anyone. How can you say that we shall be set free? I love
See
this
how
response
far,
as well.
see how
Jesus
far
replied,
off we are?
exactly. But to check it. Jesus replied, very truly I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin.
Slave to sin.
Now,
Slave to sin.
a slave has no permanent place in the family. The son belongs to it forever. So, if the son sets you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's descendants, yet you are looking for a way to kill me because you have no room for my word. I am telling you what I have seen in the Father's presence, and you are doing what you have seen, what you have heard from your father.
Yeah.
Abraham is our father, they answered. If you were Abraham's children, said Jesus, then you would do what Abraham did. As it is, you are looking to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. Abraham did not do such things. You are doing the works of your own father. I will stop there. I'm going to go over to Corinthians, not even Corinthians, Romans. Romans 8. Romans 8. John 8 to Romans 8.
I'm ready, Lord.
This is the second week in a row where we've been heavy in scripture, brother.
I'm here. But that's where we need to be.
Well,
That's
we'll see.
exactly where we need to be.
Romans 8 1, Romans 8 1, it says, therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus, because through Christ Jesus, the law of the Spirit who gives life has set you free from the law of sin and death.
Here go that freedom again.
You hear me? So if you jump back up to 24, verse 7, chapter 7, verse 24, what a wretched man I am. Who will rescue me from this body that is subject
It's
to
subject to
death?
death.
Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then, I myself in mine am a slave to God's law, but in my sinful nature, a slave to the law of sin.
Oh, see,
Was sitting there listening to John, brother, in this conversation. I said, man, Brother Jim always asks that question. What are you being set free from?
oh,
Now, this is good because Jesus eloquently put it. He said, if you follow me, you'll be my disciple. If you hold to my teachings, you'll be my disciple. And you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. They responded with, well, we're not slaves to anybody.
hey,
This is what's interesting. But they were slaves. They were under the Roman governance. So you were slaves. You were a slave. You weren't free.
hey,
But Jesus said, if you follow me and hold to my teachings, you will know the truth, and the truth will set
you'll
you.
know the truth.
You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free, set you free in NIV, make you free in KJV.
Right.
But you'll be free. But they saying, no, we're not slaves. But then Jesus responded. He didn't even he didn't even entertain this whole bit
Right.
that they're saying that they weren't slaves. He put it to them even plainer. He says, every man that has sinned,
That's a
everyone
slave.
who sins
It's
is
a
a
slave.
slave to sin. But notice what he said, how he prefaced this comment though. He said, now a slave has no permanent place in the family because this is where the indeed comes from. A slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to it forever. So if the son sets you free, you will be free indeed.
Indeed.
You will be free indeed. Wow. Now that's amazing because he shifted. It's it's a shift in the whole conversation. They not following. They're not getting it. The inheritance is through Christ. It's through Christ. You and if you're wanting an
There's no other
inheritance,
way. Yeah,
you have
there's
to
no
go
other
through Christ.
way.
And if you sinned, and if you're sinning, then you're a slave. Not only are you a slave, but you're a slave to sin. Therefore, you are being governed by a law, which is what Paul
Right.
talked about. Because
Right.
without the law, there is no sin.
There's no sin.
So you're being governed by the law as opposed to being governed by God. And because you can't keep the law, now you're a slave to sin. You're a slave to breaking the law.
The
Isn't
law.
that interesting?
Yeah, that's your heritage.
Yeah. So your inheritance is death. You're bound.
You locked into this continuous cycle of sin.
Sin. Can't get it off. You can't shake it. This is what's amazing to me.
You
And this,
can't
I'm just
stop.
gonna
You
jump.
can't stop it, and we don't, and that's why we think we can do everything.
Right. Right.
We we are kept from the truth that we need help.
Yeah.
See, we blocked from the truth of us needing help,
Hmm.
and help is available.
Right. Because you think you can
Right? You
see.
got it.
You
Yeah.
think you can see. But this is going to even knock your socks off because this is what the Lord told me this morning. He said, but man, Lord, he said everyone who sins is a slave to sin.
He's a slave to sin. It's like there's nothing else.
But no, as believers, we still sin.
Yeah,
And a lot of times we confuse chapter 7 with as believers and sinning. But no, Paul wasn't talking about as a believer. Paul was talking about understanding the law in his mind and not being
right.
able to keep the law. And as he said in verse 24, he says, so then I myself in mind am a slave to God's law, but in my sinful nature, a slave to the law of sin. In my mind, it's like I know that I know to do the right thing and I want to do the right
To
thing
do
in
the right
my
thing,
mind.
but
But
no,
in my body, I can't do the right thing.
no.
But this is pre-Christ. This is before believing. I'm talking
Yes,
about as believers, we still err from the truth. But Jesus said, you will be free
indeed.
indeed from the sin, meaning you're free from breaking the law.
The law.
So then why do we persist to break the law if we're freed? So it made me question, Lord, then are we free? And he said this. He said, when your trigger is being pulled, does the bullet come out? And I had to think about it. I said, no. He said, why not? Hmm. When your trigger is being pulled, in other words, when you are enticed by
Right.
your lust, do you succumb? No. See, we all have these natures in us to where, and this is what I'm getting at, to where I want to defy God, where I want to go against God. There are some things that we do that may be an error, but we're talking about, and the listeners, please don't confuse what it is when I say all unlawfulness is sin. But what I'm talking about and what Jesus is talking about and what he's referring to is when we go and walk into this nature defying God. In other words, when he's telling you, you can't do this anymore, and then you'd still do it,
You keep doing it.
defying God,
That's the thing, yeah.
defying God. That's the law of sin that he speaks of.
And that's intentional.
It's intentional. There may be some things that I say that God didn't tell me to say. And then he comes back and said, yeah, don't say that. All right, now that he's come back and see where the law comes in.
Mm-hmm.
See, there are things that we do because we are not in lockstep with God,
Right.
saying what God is wanting us to say, thinking what God is wanting us to say. Think, no. But there are some things that God says, you can't do that anymore. He's told us that. And then he says, this is the thing that you're enticed to do. Like for instance, if you were a womanizer, and then you became a believer, and then God says, okay, now you can't be that anymore. He told you that. That was your no longer. And then there
Yeah.
are some things that you grow into,
Right.
right? You grow into learning when to and what not to and how to, da 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 da. Those are things that he gives you a leash on. And is this scripture? Yes, this is actually scripture. I can go to scripture where Paul talks about this, where you get a leash, right? But not that the leash is long. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't give you a long leash even in that.
No.
Right, where you're coming into the knowledge of things of how to speak
Right.
and how to listen and things like that. So that's I don't
Well,
want you to get
yeah.
confused on that.
Well,
But this is what
yeah.
you get caught up onto is what I'm saying was when he's saying you're free from this sin, when you are holding to his teaching, there is some teachings that he's teaching you that you have to do. And he's saying when you hold to those teachings, those things that he's telling you you have to do,
Right.
you're not going to defy him. And he says, why? Because you're holding to his teaching. This is what
Right.
he's saying. Because
Oh,
because you believe in him. Not because of my own strength. And what I'm getting at is back to the womanizer. He says, you can no longer be this womanizer. Oh, okay. You can no longer look at a woman like with an intent of lust. Oh, okay. Then you don't. Why is that? Because you've been made free, because you believe in him, because you're
he said, yeah.
holding to his teaching. And this is what I'm saying.
There's a difference between the teaching and just him.
Exactly. And there's a difference between somebody saying they believe and they actually believe. And they can sit there and tell you that I made a covenant with my eyes that I won't look at a woman lustfully. Job, these are believers actually doing this. But as believers, do we make, yes, we do make mistakes, meaning we do things that God looks at it like, I didn't want you to do that. Okay, now don't do it anymore. But then there are things that he's already told you not to do as coming into the faith that you can no longer do, and you're held accountable if you do it. Those are the things we are not committing. We're not working in those things. Well, God told you to drop those cigarettes. That was a command. You can no longer do that. Have you done it? No. And why not? Is it because you're so strong? No. No. It's because of what?
That's
Because
part
you're
of believing.
that's because you're holding to his teaching.
Right.
Because you're holding to his teaching. And so then, let's circle it back. Let's circle it back. When he came back right here in 35, he says, very truly, I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now, a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to it forever. So if the son sets you free, you will be free indeed. You will no longer have to walk contrary to the God who has now welcomed you in to his family, to his steed, to his dwelling place. Now, even better analogy, now I have the ability to hear directly from God what it is that he wants me to and doesn't want me to do. I can hear it clearly. Why? Because he's my father, just as Jesus is saying, the son, speaking of himself, belongs to it forever. I'm a
Right.
son. I have the inheritance within my possession. So if the son who has the possession sets you free, you're free. The question is, are you holding to my teaching?
And notice he subtly said that at the very beginning.
Or are you holding to my teaching? Are you, as you said, following me? See, the question is, have you been set free based on what he's just said? Have you been? See, a lot of us are proclaiming to be believers, but we haven't been set free. Therefore, we constantly are defying God. And then we're constantly in 7 making these statements. Oh man, this wretched man that I am, I gotta do this. No, sir, you don't have to do this. You don't have to walk in sin, sir. No, you don't have to walk in these lies of defying God, sir. No, you do not. No, you don't. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. You don't have to have a habit of lying, sir. No, you do not, sir. You don't have to have this nature in you to where you want to be with the same sex, sir. No, you don't, sir. That's you not holding to his teaching. Because if you hold to his teaching, the teaching, what teaching? The teaching that he's conversing with you with, understanding what the truth is, seeing the truth, knowing, okay, God said no. Even when the problem arises, God said, can't do that no more. Can't be talking to you like that. Can't be over there hanging out with you. Nope. Can't do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Why?
Right.
Because you're holding to his teaching. See, there's this thing that happens, and see, we
And see, that's the definition to me of following.
exactly, exactly, because God isn't producing sinful natures, but that's what we walk in. We walk in this light, like God is producing this sinful nature. It's like, what do you mean by that? He's producing people that can only walk in a sinful nature. That's not what God is producing.
No, that's not what he's producing.
No, that's not what. Now you may see the ramifications of my sinful nature in my demeanor. Yeah, I might get frowned up, but guess what? I'm not going to defy my God. I'm not going to defy my God.
Yeah, there's another conscious, there's a consciousness of
It's
God in
consciousness,
spite of
e-
that.
even in that frown that you see,
Right. Even in it.
still
Even in
aware of my God. I cannot break through the edge of the ice. And can't even wear that frown too long. I'm gonna get chastised.
it.
I'm gonna get chastised for wearing that frown too long, sir, ma'am. So I'm constantly in communication with my God because I'm holding to his teaching. I'm holding to his teaching me how to walk the way he projects me to walk. That's the teaching, not the D's and the dows. No. How is he projecting for Corey to walk in this instance, in that instance, in that instance, in each instance of each
Mhm.
instance built up and collected into days, months, years,
Yeah.
decades, millenniums, all of the things until one day he comes and says, "You with me now, in spirit and in body." Because right now I'm with him in two different dimensions.
Hmm.
I'm with him in this dimension that I can't see him in, and he's with me in this dimension that he's not allowing me to see him in. Because then we will both be in the same dimension that he's allowing himself to be seen in. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Apart from that, he's with me and I'm with him. And the question is, are we holding to his teaching so that we can be free from sin? And that's the sin, and that's the freedom that he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's the freedom. I have freedom to roam around and walk in the direction of him at all times.
Mhm.
At all times. I don't have to succumb to the circumstances. I don't have to succumb to the conditions just because it happened and I didn't like it. I didn't have to go and chase this dude down that cut me off, like literally, not like
Right.
moved in front of me. No, he was like gonna run me off the road, me
Yeah.
off. And in my mind, I know he saw me. Dude, you were just next to me, and then now you want to drive in front of me with your big truck? And I was telling Bridget, I said, man, I'm glad God got a hold on me. And she said, does he? I said, oh yeah. Because if he didn't, I didn't drove this joker down. You hear me? It's like,
Hmm.
what were you looking at, sir? But God comes in and says, get on Beltway 8.
But
Yes,
that's
sir.
the but see, that's the ongoing walk. That's the ongoing.
Yes.
See, that's the being in his presence.
Yes.
That's more than that's a whole lot more than following from a distance.
Exactly.
Walking with him,
Yeah.
existing with him.
Yeah. Lock
But
arms.
because he's not off somewhere.
No, no, no.
He's
He's
not
not
off.
away.
No, he's not away. He's there.
He's here. He's a very ever present God.
Yeah.
And the question is, have we been set free from holding to his teaching? See, I don't have to walk in this nature. I don't have to walk in this nature that is not of God. I don't have to.
No.
I've been made free. I am now a son. I am now an heir. I am no longer a servant.
Yeah.
The servant doesn't know what their master is doing.
Doing.
A son knows what his father is doing. I know what my God and my Father is doing because he shares it with me. We are in constant communication. So I don't have to walk contrary to his ways. And that is the freedom.
Is it freedom?
I have the ability to know the way of my Father and walk in the way of my Father
With my Father.
with, great point, with
Yeah.
my Father. Not some set of rules that he's thrown out
Three, four, yeah. Three.
that
See,
I am
that's a
not able
three.
to.
That's a threefold. That's a
s-
trinity in itself.
Exactly. He is right here with me, directing me, guiding me.
He's not off somewhere.
He's not off somewhere.
Yeah.
He's not off
Yeah.
somewhere.
See, we have a tendency to see the circumstances more than we see our God.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. We're aware of everything
Yeah.
but him.
Right. Mm.
And that ought to be our first
Mm.
awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
We react to everything.
But God, because we're not free. Because we're not free. See, when you're free, you don't have to. When you're free, not that you don't have to. When you're free, you're not going to.
You're not going to, yeah, yes, because your intention.
Because I only want to do what the Father is telling me to do. And I
Right.
only want to say what the
What he
Father is
said.
telling me to say because I'm free. See, I've been
Mhm.
made free. I've been made free. I don't have to be what the world is telling me to be.
Right.
No, no, no. I can be what God is telling me to be.
In spite of where I am, what
In
my
spite
circumstances
of
are,
where I am,
et
sir.
cetera, et cetera.
In
Like
spite of
Shadrach, like Shadrach, Meshach, and
Meshach and Abednego.
going
Like
into the
like
furnace.
Mishael,
Right.
Azariah, and
Right.
Hananiah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the slave
Right.
names.
No. Right.
Not the slave names.
Real name.
Real names. Yeah. 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 I love that. Now the fire consumed that was meant to consume me gets consumed by
Mhm.
my father. Now we more real than the fire.
Yep.
You come out of there not smelling like smoke. No damage to our clothes, even though they're flammable.
We
Man,
are
say
in another dimension.
whole other dimension. And then when you start having those dimensional interactions that outside of dimension you're living in, when you start having those encounters,
Yes.
man, say, yeah, those
But
unreal experiences, When
Right.
it comes to this dimension, you start to really recognize the freedom that you're in.
Right.
Now you're not even governed. You're no longer governed by the laws of the
Right.
world when it comes to gravity and
Free.
Newton's laws. You're
Free.
free. You're free even from that. What did he say? You'll be bitten by some venomous animal and you won't die. You'll drink something that is poisonous to you and it won't bother you
Right.
because you're free. See, those things start to come into play because you've been set free because you're holding to his teachings.
Teachings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That that's the freedom, brother,
Yeah.
that you've been asking me about. Free from what? Free from that. Free from everything outside of God.
Free.
Free. Mm, mm, mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that phrase, if you hold to my
My
teaching,
teachings. If you hold to my teachings.
and obviously
Yeah.
we have the power to
To
hold
hold
to those
to his
teachings.
teaching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not only am I teaching,
Yeah.
but you now have the power to
Yeah.
hold.
Right.
Wow. Freedom.
Freedom.
He's no longer a slave to the things that are not of God.
Right.
And unfortunately, we never walk into the reality or grasp the reality that we were slaves to them.
This that we were slaves.
That we were slaves.
Not understanding what a slave is.
Yes, right.
Someone indebted, whether the
Yeah.
debt was forced upon them,
Or what? But you're indebted.
you're indebted, which
You're
means
obligated.
you're obligated. You have no choice. You have no
Right.
choice but to do this work. There's no choice.
It makes it difficult to follow a teaching.
It makes it very difficult to follow a teaching when you have no choice but to do the
Right.
work. You have no choice but to be a womanizer, to be a liar,
Right.
to be a thief,
Right.
to be a coveter of your neighbor's wife or husband,
Yes.
to be sexually immoral,
That's that's all the stuff that's common to man.
all of it. Worshiper of idols,
Yes.
lover of pleasure more than a lover of God.
Yeah, yeah. Looking for something else. Some
Something else, looking for something
none
else when
other.
there's nothing else,
Yeah.
looking for some other when there's none other. I like that.
Right. And you just think about the time and effort that we spend doing that.
Doing it. Yeah.
Not even realizing
Mhm.
that's what you made a choice.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
put yourself back into subjection
Yeah.
because you're not holding to the teaching.
Right.
See, how did Paul put it over in Corinthians? What do you have that you didn't receive?
Exactly.
That's a good question.
Right.
Because if I didn't receive it, I don't have it.
You don't. You do not. You do not.
Yeah. And you take all of those, and you take all of those teachings, you take all of those teachings, and what you're doing is clinging to Him.
Right.
You're clinging to Him.
Yeah.
His teachings is who He is,
Right.
His reality.
I'm only here to do one thing.
Right.
What he's directing me to do.
You do. Great.
What he's directing me to do. So I can't hang on to all of these outside things
Other things. Right.
that God isn't directing me
Right.
to do.
Absolutely. And it's so quick and it's so easy to get caught up in stuff.
Right.
I mean, I went through that today.
Right.
And I told my wife, I said, well, seems like I'm just not in charge today.
Right.
Getting caught up in
Right.
all this stuff.
Right.
And I'm really wasting time
Yeah.
because I'm not holding on to his
To
teeth.
his teaching. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
rebelling like Jonah.
yeah, yeah, yes, just rebelling.
I'm rebelling like Jonah.
Man,
Yeah.
see, that's what I was mentioning just before you started this.
You were.
Is we looking and we're seeing what's right there and obvious,
Hmm. Yep.
and we're not factoring in
Nope.
the God behind these truths.
Right. Yeah. It's a means to an end for us.
Right.
I'm here to collect the following. Yeah.
And if God were your father,
Yeah. If God were your father,
you love
yeah. Yeah.
me.
You would
You
treat
love
me the
me.
way Abraham
Yeah,
did.
you would, and you would cling to my teachings.
Exactly. But my word has no part in you.
Right.
What it say? Because you have no room for my word. You have no room for my word.
What I say? Wow. What a teaching.
Right. Went right
And
over their
what,
head.
yeah, but what an explanation.
Yeah.
And he warns us at the very front end. Hang
Yep.
on to these, hang on to
Hang
these
on to my
teachings.
teaching. Hang on to my teaching so that you can now be a part of the inheritance. But see, they didn't want to be a part of the inheritance. See, you're of your father. And we got two different daddies. And that's something too. You got to look at that because when you're in
And
her,
notice
yeah,
how Jesus alluded to the fact that Abraham was a rascal.
yeah,
You hanging on to him.
right.
He didn't say it, but a greater than Abraham is here.
Exactly. He said, "Hey, I know you're Abraham's descendants. Yet you are looking for a way to kill me because you have no room for my word. I am telling you what I've seen in my father's presence, and you're doing
My,
what you've seen and
my
heard from your
teaching,
father."
my teachings have no place with you.
Right. We got two different daddies. I know you passed down through Abraham, but what I'm talking about your dad. I'm talking about your creator. I'm talking about the one that placed its spirit in you. And it is not my father. It's the father of lies
Mhm.
because you seemingly prefer a lie over truth
Yeah.
because he started out. If you hold to my teachings, you'll know the truth. But you prefer a lie over the truth. See, when you've been born again, as people proclaim to be, you prefer the truth over the lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It said, what did he say? He said they preferred darkness.
Yeah. Tonight.
He said,
Over here.
but those that are walking in the truth came to the light. Is that how he put it? Did he say those that are walking in truth came to the light?
Light has come to the world, but people love darkness instead of light because their deeds weak.
Right.
Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds gonna be there. See, they busy protecting their deeds.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever lives by the truth comes
Whoever
into
lives by the truth comes into the light.
holding to my words.
Yeah.
So that it may be seen plainly that what they have done has been done in the sight of God.
God. Whoever, John 3:21, but whoever lives by the truth comes into the light, so that it may be seen plainly that what they have done has been done in the sight of God.
In the sight of God. I'm doing, seeing God.
Right.
Where?
Living by the truth,
In his presence.
understanding who is the Father, not needing to be taught by anyone because he has written the laws
Right.
in their heart.
Oh, you already know what they are.
Therefore, they came to Jesus because God led them.
Yeah.
Truth versus a lie. Truth versus a lie. Son versus a slave to sin.
And that's the split.
Yeah,
That's the split.
yeah,
Those who are adhering to his words, right?
yeah.
And those who are slaves to sin. Two camps.
Two camps. Here's even another kicker. Lucifer is a slave to sin.
Yeah,
They think he invented it. No, sir, he's a slave to sin.
he's a slave just like you are.
He can't stop doing it because he's been enslaved. Therefore, his wages is death. If we put that into perspective, if we put the fact that this creation of from God is also a slave to sin, all of his power is now removed. He has no power over you.
Right.
We can't put that in perspective
We can't put that in perspective. We're not holding on to his
to his
teaching.
teachings. And we too are slaves to sin. So we're all in the same boat,
Right.
not even realizing it because he seemingly has more power than we do.
Right.
He got more power to sin because he know where he going. So he has more power to sin. God gives him more power to sin. Fancy that. Why would you want power to sin? I don't want power to defy my
You
God.
already, you already a slave to sin.
Right. I don't want power to be a slave. Empowering me as a slave. No, thank you.
Mm.
Empower me as a son to do exactly what it is you want me to do. You know, it amazes me how in the movies you watch these movies, there's always an antagonist and a protagonist in every movie. Every movie. It doesn't matter what the movie is about. That's how movies draw you in.
Right.
And in every movie, you always have the evil appearing to be winning. Every movie. There's so much more
That's where,
dominance.
yeah, that's where the emphasis is.
It's always emphasized there. But nobody likes a bad ending. So good eventually outweighs the bad. It eventually outweighs the bad. But we
Well,
talked
why
about
is that?
right. Because if you think about the way the world moves, seemingly we have more evil done in our lives than good. And there's always this phrase that trouble don't last always. He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. Meaning there's eventually
And always on time doesn't count for nothing.
right, but eventually life is gonna get better. What did Job say? Uh, basically our days are filled with trouble. How did he put it?
Mhm.
I can't remember how he put it, but basically our days they're filled with trouble, and in the trouble is it outweighs the bad. That seems to be the spin of the world. It's not true because if you think about it, how many people in comparison, in comparison, are shooting up schools? There are a lot of shootings of schools. There have been recently a lot of murder suicides where husbands have been killing all their families and then
Mhm.
killing themselves. Recently, there's been quite a few,
Mhm.
but you could probably count the number of them on your hands.
Mhm.
You probably say, okay, out of all the millions of families there are in the United States, not just the world, the United States, you had about 10 or 20 of these murder suicides of their families.
And
The
it's
tr-
so overwhelming, whatever.
but it's a drop in the bucket in comparison to all the
Yeah,
people that aren't
all
killing
the
their family.
possibilities. Yeah, yeah.
But let the world tell it.
Kelly,
The
right?
evil is outweighing the bad. Just like cop killings. You would think, oh, cops are just killing every black person they stop. No, that wasn't true. You would have these few where black people were getting killed by officers, but the majority did not have killed. Majority of the cops were not killing black people.
Right.
The evil isn't the majority even today, presently.
Right. It's not,
It's not.
but
You got
it's evil enough.
it is where people are highlighting
For
the evil.
many, yeah, because
That's really
maybe,
all it is.
maybe it's because we don't see it.
No, it's because we prefer
Yeah.
the highlight of the evil. Nobody wants to highlight where some person got a cat out of a tree. Oh, man, you gonna turn that. But if somebody blowing up a building, oh my gosh, man, he just blew up that building. You gonna stop and watch. But why you want to see that? You're not watching the movie for the good being done against the evil. No, you're watching the movie for all of the evil.
Yeah.
And then
Satis-
eventually the good will be done.
Satisfying your own lust.
Exactly. Exactly.
satisfying your own lust.
because
And,
you prefer darkness over light.
and a
Because see,
lie to the truth.
mhm, because see, the lie gonna sell. Truth won't. Nobody wants to buy truth, and nobody wants to sell it either. We
And
just want to.
nobody's trying to sell it,
We're just trying to give it to you.
and nobody's trying to find it to buy.
We're just trying to give it to you. But then you don't even want it for free.
Right. It's got to be a string attached.
It has to be. No, we rather have the lie.
Right.
When I was doing a poetry contest a couple of months ago, and I did a poem called "What Is Black." Now, the whole premise of the poem was, I said it. I said, I'm not here to attack. I'm here to get you to see our reasoning for racial divide is a bit detached. Because if you go back, nobody called us black where we came from. We were Nigerian, we were Ethiopian, we were
Mm-hmm.
Kenyan, Congo, or
Whatever. Yeah.
whatever. We were African to other people from other continents, but we weren't black. Black was a term of condescending placed
That's
upon
right.
us by supremacists
Yeah.
because we didn't look like them. And it was a means of demeaning us. Oh, you're black, you're negro. Went from negro to nigger. But it's just really a converted word from negro, meaning black. But we weren't black, we were dark. I have never seen a black person. They would be really difficult to see their features if they were black. Seen purple. I even seen pictures of people who were blue. But I've never seen a picture of somebody that was black. Typically, you're brown or dark brown. So variations of brown. So we call the color brown.
Mm-hmm.
Maroon
But we never
in
called it brown.
Spanish. We never called them brown. And then you got people that are pale call themselves brown. I'm brown skinned. Girl, you're not brown. You're pale, you're peach, but you're not brown. Then they say call themselves white, and they're not white. They're
Mhm.
red,
Everything but white.
olive. These weird colors.
They pale,
They get pale, pink,
but they're not
red,
white.
but you're not white. If you compare yourself to white, you're
Prefer
light.
the
You
prefer the
prefer
lie.
the lie. In the gist of the poem was to try to get people to question why did they call us that? And now, what are we defining it as? Because what we are Americans, but nobody sits there and wants to champion the fact that they're Americans.
Now
But
we all want and so we're all American,
we're all
but
American.
we gotta stick that little purpose on it.
Exactly. Black American or
Yeah.
African
Black
American.
American. Yeah.
But nobody else is calling themselves that, meaning white folks ain't saying they white Americans, they saying they're Americans. They're not saying they're French American or Irish American or British American. No, they're just
We
saying
just
they're
American.
American. And then but the poem is questioning all of that.
Right.
But see, but when you hear that in the poem,
And nobody chooses to be just American.
right now you feel like, oh, I'm trying to take something from you. What's wrong with being black? Well, there ain't nothing wrong with being black. Do
But
you want to be that?
that's not what I really am.
That's not what I am. That ain't even my skin color. But
Yeah,
we
how do you
wearing
get
it
that? How do you get black out of this?
right. It's a false sense of
That's the
truth.
lie.
You're believing you're walking, you're preferring the lie over the truth. Even the poem. Nobody wanted to hear that. We don't want to hear that, Corey. Why not? You don't want to question the foolery from people that people say? You don't want to question it? Even what you're even calling black. What do you even call black? Dumbness? Do you call being educational black? So what are we even talking about? Do you call the civil rights leader? Do you call being designers black? Ah, that ain't black. We were some of the first designers, some of the first inventors, but they don't want the truth. They want the lie.
And nobody sees that for what it is.
Is nobody's looking at that for what it is because you don't want to be free. You don't want to be free indeed.
They're rejecting truth.
Rejecting it. They reject it.
And
Just as
truth
because,
has a name.
yeah, it has a name. Just as Jesus said, because the word, you have no room for his word.
None.
No room. You're too filled with the lie. Just like Lucifer. He's empowered to sin. This dude has been empowered to sin. Empowered. He's an empowered slave to sin. Wow. The company we keep. That's the company you want? You want to be alliance with some entity that's been empowered as a slave to sin, as opposed to being a family member of somebody that's going to set you free from the sin and give you truth to hold on to. And you will know, and you will know that is truth. Free indeed, brother. Free indeed.
Mm, mm, mm. Slaves.
Hmm.
And folks don't even won't even hold to that true definition of slavery.
Of a slave. Yeah,
What a definition of slavery.
right. Indebted.
Yeah.
You don't
Control
have a choice.
control your entire behavior.
Right. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
Mm, mm, mm. People love darkness.
Rather than light, brother. They love darkness rather than light. So they think the darkness is winning, but it's not. If the darkness was winning, this world would be in a really bad shape.
But it is in really bad shape,
Oh
Cody.
no. Oh no, I know. But when I say really bad shape, it would look like there aren't any lights here. Oh, we see light. We
Yeah,
see light. We see light. Even when I'm driving, two or three people cut me off, and I'm driving amongst thousands and thousands of people daily.
right.
Not everybody's a bad driver. It may seem like it,
Yeah,
but they're not.
but they're not.
And that's the thing. The enemy wants us to think that
It's all normal.
well, no, he wants us to think that he's in control of the world beyond God, but he's not.
That's the only example he has to show.
Exactly.
All he doing is showing how much of a slave he is.
He is. That's it. You only gotta now you may have, and this is the thing, what people, the majority of the people you ask in this world, do they think they're good or bad? What the majority of them gonna say? They gonna say
Good.
they think they good. But the majority of
And,
the people in this world
yeah,
ain't gonna say they
and
think they
you
bad.
and you can't and see and you can't and you'll get stoned if you tell them that you're calling bad good.
That's what I'm saying. You'd get stoned, sir, for telling these people they bad when they think they good. That's the lie. But that's also the reason why the majority of the world isn't committed to this overwhelming pitch blackness that we don't see. You see a good of operation reflecting God as opposed to pitch black
Yeah.
reflecting. And everybody understand pitch black. If there was pure chaos, it would merely look like this movie called Purge, where
Heard of that.
everybody everybody's trying to kill everybody. Everybody trying to kill everybody. That's why they call it the purge. They're purging the earth. So you get turned loose for a day. Just kill a whole day.
What's gonna keep you alive?
Exactly. Exactly. Nothing. And this is how they purge out the evil, by being solely evil for one day. Bunch of foolishness. They made a whole bunch of those movies.
It did. It was a whole string of them,
There's a
but
string of them. I saw the first one. I didn't watch them after that. They were dumb. It was so dumb. I was like, what is this?
I'm not sure how I got to see one of them. I didn't watch the whole movie, but I
Right.
had a glimpse of it. And,
Right.
you're too dark for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's a movie. Imagine that in present day. Like, I mean, you can walk outside or stay inside. But you know what I mean? But we have this level of some sense of security as a nation, and not only a nation, as the world, despite how much evil is going on within it, we have
And
this
despite
sense,
and despite of how much we promote and advertise,
advertise it. There's still majority of us are choosing good over evil,
right,
light
right,
over darkness. But
right,
nobody will publicize that.
life over death.
Life over death. No one will publicize that. No, we're going to highlight the evil every time you turn on the news. We're going to highlight the evil because
The
nobody would watch the news if it was always
evil
good.
sells
It sells. It
in
sells.
cells.
It sells. Fear sells. You're gonna go, I'm gonna go buy a gun. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna buy these locks. I'm gonna buy these security cameras. I'm gonna buy this some security system. I'm gonna buy this protection for my computer because I don't want that firmware. I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna sign up for this because fear sells.
Mm, mm,
See, when God says, "Oh, the baby could be in the snake's den or whatever, and it won't no harm come to it," well, we can't sell that.
mm.
Can't sell those that. No, we need to sell this snake repellent. You don't want snakes in your yard. Well, if the snake ain't gonna bite you, I can't sell this repellent.
Man,
Yeah.
it's twisted.
Right. Jesus comes and says, "If you hold to my teachings, you'll be my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And if the Son sets you free,
You're
you're
free.
free indeed."
Mhm. And that's what brings what little light there is.
Right.
That's what transmits what little light there is.
Right.
And some people hear that
Yeah.
and they adhere to it.
Right.
Right? They hold to my teaching.
Right. They what did it say in 21? They live by the truth and they come into the light. They live by the truth, therefore they come into the light, so that their deeds can be seen by God plainly.
Yeah. They can take so they can be seen. They glorifying God.
Right. They want to be the reflection of light.
Right.
I want to be the
Ab-
reflection of light.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was telling my direct reports, we were just talking and they were just talking about how things that they've experienced, and they was like, they all said, everybody says it. Man, we have a really good team. This is a really good team. Good. And I told them, I said, yeah, I always had this motto or this mindset to be the leader I want to see. So I'm going to put forth every effort to be this person that I want to see in others because I want to lead by example. So if I want to see this in you, then I want to model it before you so that you too can walk out the same truth.
Mhm.
And this is the mindset of folk that are 21, living by the truth and coming into the light because they want to be what they want to see.
Right.
They're choosing to be what it is that they want to see. I want to see God. Therefore, I'm choosing to be a
Right.
representative
Okay.
of God.
Well, we are traveling.
There we are.
We are traveling, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
And the pool and it's with minimal scripture
Yeah. Yeah.
because it is the essence,
Yeah.
the core.
Yeah.
the simplicity that he taught with a simplistic objective.
Yep.
Back to verse 21 again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far did we go down? We went down to,
Oh, and John.
yeah,
Oh, we went all the way down to 41.
47,
41.
41, 40, yeah, 42.
Yeah, 42.
Now we 41. You right.
41.
40.
You are doing the works of your own father.
Yeah. You
You
right.
are
41.
doing the works of your own
And all they
father.
can think of, we're not
We're
illegitimate.
not illegitimate, right? Right. But if God were your father, you would love
Yeah, well,
me.
how come they didn't claim God?
If
They
you,
had
yeah, you
they
talking
hollered
about
about
Abraham.
Abraham. They
You ain't
hollered
say
about
nothing about
Abraham.
God. Now you trying to talk about God because I said you of your you
Right.
following the ways of your own father.
Right.
No, God is our father. No, God can't be your father because you
Right.
would love me, for I have come from him. Come here from him.
Right.
I have not come on my own. God sent me.
The only power we have is God. Come on, man.
Now, you belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, and I was like, wow, he was a murderer? What was he murdering?
Right.
So what is murder defined as? We got to sit there and get that truth.
Yep.
Because murder in
He was a
that
murderer
dimension is different from murder in this dimension. But Jesus said he was a murderer from the beginning.
from the beginning.
I guess murder would be defined as separating you from God.
Yep.
'Cause he sure did pull a whole lot of angels,
Mhm.
separated them from God.
Did.
Heard of them. That's a whole bunch, because, for as I know, it's a whole quadruple billion of them old boys. Third of a quadruple billion is a whole lot of billions. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, brother.
Dude,
Mm,
who was the idiot that said who was, Pilate? What is true?
what is truth? He told you what it was. He told you he was truth. But here again, if you don't hold to the teaching, you won't know the truth and you will not be made free. You will not be made free.